Hello guys and gals, and welcome. So today I'd like to go over something very interesting with you. I would like to go over runes and how to find them. So you might have seen all these lovely runes, the L rune, the Eld, the Tyr, the Neph, the Eth, the Ith, the Tau, the Rao, the Ort, the Thul, the Am, the Sol, the Shale, the Dol, the Hel, the Io, the Lum, the Ko, the Foul, the Lem, the Pul, the Mal, Ist, Gull, Vex, Lo, Sir, Burr, Jah, Cham, and Zod Runes. But you might have no idea where to find them or what to do to get them. So today I'd like to just go over really quickly with you on how to obtain runes, what the best way to obtain runes is, and where you can go to get certain runes. So, without further ado, we're going to hop onto one of my my BattleNet characters, and we're going to play around with finding runes. Alright, so here we are over on my Paladin, my Vengeance Paladin. And what I'd like to show you right off the bat is that my Vengeance Paladin has only 3% Magic Find. I'm not even sure where that 3% Magic Find is coming from. It's probably a charm. Oh, there we go. So let me take this charm out, because I want to make sure that I have 0% Magic Find. And the reason why I want to make sure I have 0% Magic Find is because I want to show you that rune drop chance does not have anything to do with Magic Find. This is rule number 1 about runes. Runes are not affected by your Magic Find percentage. It does not matter if you have 10 million% Magic Find, you are not going to increase the chances that you will get runes from anything. Are there things that affect rune drop chance? The answer to that question is yes. There are things that do, in fact, affect rune drop chance. And we're going to go over those things one at a time. So the first thing that affects rune drop chance is the number of players in the game. So the more players that are in the game, there is a higher % chance for runes to drop. And the reason why there is a higher % chance for runes to drop when there are more players in the game is because of the fact that there is what is called a no-drop roll. So when you get a no-drop roll, what this means is that if I kill a monster, for instance, it doesn't matter what monster it is, if I kill any monster and that monster drops nothing, or like for instance when I clicked on this Skull and Rocks here, notice how nothing came out? Or if I kill this particular monster, nothing drops. One item dropped from him, nothing dropped from him. That is actually what's called a no-drop roll. So every monster has a chance to drop an item. Every single one. Every single barrel, every single basket, every single chest. Doesn't matter what it is that you're fighting, they all have a chance to drop something. The problem is that there is also, on the roulette wheel of fate, there is what's called a no-drop roll. And when you are in a single-player game by yourself, you will get lots and lots of no-drop rolls. And the reason why this is because they want to reward, essentially, group play. So the more people that are in a game, the more chance you have to get some nice items. And what we want to do is we want to maximize our chance to get runes because there are so very few possibilities for getting good runes. One of the things that you have to be aware of is that to get runes, you need to be in the right zones. So it's kind of hard to quantify exactly like where each individual rune starts dropping, but I can give you some information that is definitely useful. For instance, the Countess drops runes. We know for a fact that she drops runes. And when you go to the Countess will only drop a certain number of runes, depending on the level that you kill her in. So in normal difficulty, she can only drop between a L rune and a Rao rune. And this is because, for some reason or another, they decided in their infinite wisdom that they were going to make it so that the Countess would drop anywhere in between 1 to 6 runes upon death. So she has the possibility to drop 6 runes in totalis on one death, which is actually a lot. She will often just drop 2 or 3, and every now and then you'll only see 1. It's basically 1 to 6. Now, in normal difficulty, she can drop from L to Ral, which is basically from rune 1 to rune 8. There are 33 runes, so it's important to remember that they're actually in order, and each one is exceedingly more rare than the last. So, for instance, the L rune is the most common at number 1, and the Zod rune is the most difficult to find at number 33. So in Nightmare difficulty, she drops between L and the 18th rune, which is Ko. And Io apparently tends to be rarer than Ko, but it doesn't really matter. The 2 Io and Ko are actually pretty useful. I've used them in quite a few Rune Word recipes. That's something to keep in mind. In Hell difficulty, she has the ability to drop pretty much every rune, all the way up to an Ist rune. A low rune, the 28th rune in the list. Now, of course, with the Countess, she is one of the things that people like to farm, but she doesn't drop the runes above 28. And if you want anything higher than a low, for instance, a Jah Rune, a Zod Rune, maybe a Burr Rune, or a Cham Rune, whatever it is that you're looking for, those runes are not going to drop here. So you have to go to another place. Now, there are other places that you can go. For instance, you can go over to Lower Kurast. Lower Kurast is a very popular area. And in Lower Kurast, you can actually find up to a Jah Rune. And what a lot of people do is they look for the super chests. They also click on pretty much every single destructible in this zone. Now, this is Hell difficulty, of course, because you're not going to find a Jah Rune in Nightmare or normal difficulty. These are higher level runes, and you can find them from anything like a hollowed out log to a corpse that you click on the ground. And there are certain monsters that have a higher % chance of dropping runes. This particular monster, the buzzards, are one of them. And this is something that we need to talk about as well, because we were originally talking about what we can do to increase our chances. So the first thing we can do is increase the number of players. And the second thing we can do is we can look for monsters specifically that have a high chance to drop runes and kill them. Now, what monsters drop runes at a higher chance and why? So this is actually written on the Diablo wiki, and anybody can read this. Basically what it says is a few monster types have a higher odds of dropping runes because they cannot drop armor or weapons, and thus spit out more runes since they have fewer other possible drops. These include wraiths, finger mages, vulture demons, will-o-wisps, and swarms. So if you're not familiar with what some of these are, I'll go over and I'll talk about them real quick, and I'll kind of explain what they are. So wraiths are ghosts. The more familiar term for them is ghosts. So anywhere that you will find a ghost is a very good place to farm runes, because those monsters in particular have a very high % chance to drop those runes. And in fact, if we wanted to go and find ghosts specifically, a very good place to go to find ghosts is Arcane Sanctuary. Another monster that has a very high rune drop chance because of the limited loot table are the finger mages. And a lot of people might not know what finger mages are, but if I explain them to you, you'll know right away. They are the monsters that create the little spiders that go along the ground and steal your mana in Chaos Sanctuary. So when you're in, for instance, River of Flame, and you are running along and you see finger mages, they have a higher chance to drop runes than anything else in the game because of their limited loot table. And if you are in a player's 7 game, which is the highest drop chance you can get for no drop rolls, so it decreases your no drop rolls by the highest percentage. Those no drop rolls will, the lack of no drop rolls and then also killing the finger mages will definitely boost the chances that a rune will fall from that particular monster. You'll also notice, though, that those particular monsters drop other items as well. They tend to drop like mana potions, scrolls of identify, There's a lot of different things that finger mages drop, just specifically because they are indeed not dropping armor and weapons. And so they not only do they have a higher percent drop chance for runes, they also have a higher percent drop chance for potions and scrolls of identify and scrolls of town portal and things like that. So you are going to see a larger percentage of odd items dropping from these monsters. And you may have noticed this in the past, that when you kill finger mages, they have a tendency to drop potions a lot. And the reason why they drop potions a lot is because they have such a limited loot table and they cannot drop other items. So it's just one of the interesting things. Now, another one of the monsters is one that we were just attacking earlier, and that is the Vulture Demon. So the Vulture Demon are those demons that literally I was just killing, and they also do not have any ability to drop weapons or armor. And Vulture Demons have a really high rune drop chance as well. So if you see Vulture Demons, it may be worth the time to take a couple extra seconds to kill them, especially if it's an elite pack, because you're going to have a good chance to get some runes from them. The next monster on the list is Swarms. So Swarms are bugs, essentially. And this is one of the reasons why I'm going to recommend a really odd place to farm runes, and you guys are going to laugh at me, but Maggot Layer level 1, 2, and 3. So these are finger mages, what I just murdered mercilessly. Let me see if I can find a couple more as demonstration. There you go. These are finger mages right here. Stormcasters. They have all sorts of different names. They fire the little spiders at you. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that they're little spiders. But if you zoom in, they are little spider things that come at you, and they steal all your mana away. So keep that in mind, that killing finger mages gives you a higher percent chance to get some runes. Like I said, next are Swarms, and Swarms are basically the big bug piles. All right, and I'm not going to recommend this for everybody. Okay, and I'm not going to recommend this for everybody because it's not for everybody. Not everybody has the ability to cut through Swarms very easily, and not everybody has the ability to farm Maggot Layer very easily. Like, for instance, if you're a Hammerden, you're not even going to step foot in Maggot Layer. You're going to listen to me, and this is a Vulture Demon, by the way. You're going to listen to me, and you're going to be like, no, I'm not going in there. I'm not going to do it. You're an idiot, and that's fine. But if you are, for instance, an Ice Amazon, or maybe you are a Javazon, or maybe you are a character who has a really nice like piercing attack, like for instance a Bone Necromancer who's firing Bone Spear. This area can actually, Maggot Layer can actually be very easy for you in particular. And the reason why Maggot Layer can be extremely easy is just simply because everything's tight in these tight little packs, and all you have to do is fire your bow or fire your Bone Spear through these tight little packs, and you will just absolutely and mercilessly slaughter everything. And this is great because for those characters, Maggot Layer is easy to farm. But for other characters, Maggot Layer is not easy to farm. So keep that in mind. But having a large concentration of Swarms in that zone is definitely helpful. Another monster that drops runes on a really high percent chance is actually one that people don't generally want to fight. And the reason why people don't generally want to fight them is because they do massive amounts of elemental damage. And I'm gonna see if I can find some for you, because I want to show you, and I also want to show you guys that they are not unresistible. So I have here Blackthorn's Face, which I'm going to use to resist them. And as you can see, I have 84% lightning resistance, which may not be enough, believe it or not. You actually need 95%, but I don't think I have any other lightning resistance just laying around. Oh, there's 7%. We'll take the 7%. That's worth it. I will take 7%. I'm not greedy. And that brings me to 91. That should be more than enough. Now, a place that you can find will-o-wisps all the time. In fact, it's very rare that you don't find will-o-wisps here. It's City of the Damned. In fact, you usually find finger mages and will-o-wisps here, I'll be surprised if I don't. There's the finger mages, of course. And believe it or not, if you have the resistances to farm City of the Damned, it's actually not a bad place for runes. There are tons of clickables, there are tons of monsters, there are tons of finger mages, and there are also tons of will-o-wisps, and you can literally run around here and just farm runes. Granted, when it comes to rune hunting, you want quantity over quality. Like, you're not worried about killing the champion packs so much as you are just massively killing large numbers of monsters at a time. And as you can see, there is a decent number of monsters here. It doesn't look like there's any wisps, though. I had to get the one City of the Damned with no wisps. But as you can see, there are a massive number of finger mages. So wisps are the gloams, they're the black souls, they're the things that everyone is afraid of. So if you have ever played Diablo before and you've encountered gloams and they've absolutely murdered you to death, you will know what I'm talking about. And gloams definitely are a hard target to farm, but they do have an increased chance of giving you runes, so people will enjoy that. Let's check here. A lot of the times there are rune or will-o-wisps here. I don't know if there will be or not, but we can always take a look. Of course, there's definitely a lot of poison going on here, I'll tell you that much. This is another zone where will-o-wisps tend to spawn a lot, and it's also one of the most ridiculous places for them to spawn because people are often trying to farm Bale, and then they come in here and they're trying to get through this massive wall of lightning, essentially, and things go bad. All right, so there's no will-o-wisps here. That's okay. They do tend to spawn in some other places. They also spawn in Act 3. In the jungle, they spawn in various places. The swarms also tend to spawn in Lower Kurast. And back to Lower Kurast, I know I kind of got off track, but we were talking about Lower Kurast being a good place to farm for runes. And while you were there clicking on the chests, I promise you, if you kill the swarms, it's worth it. The swarms are actually very good to kill, specifically for that reason, for the extra percentage on the runes. And let me grab my circlets. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through Lower Kurast here, and we're going to see what we can find. I will fast forward this bit so that you guys can get to the juicy bits without wasting all the time. All right, now really quickly, I want to interrupt the speed boost here to show you this. So this is a circle of torches. And in the circle of torches, there is usually something nearby which is considered a super chest. So we have here a stash, and we're going to click on whatever is nearby. We got a locked chest. There we go. That's our super chest as far as I can remember. When you have multiple items like that drop from one chest, that usually means it's a super chest. Most chests will only drop between like 1 to 3 items. Super chests can drop like up to 6 items. And this is important because one of the reasons that people come to Lower Kurast is to look for those little flame circles, and then they look for those super chests. As you can see, there's another super chest there. These chests have a higher % chance to drop runes just simply because they have so many items that they can drop. When you're talking about no roll, no item rolls, which is basically where you have an item that doesn't roll anything. So you kill a monster, you click on a corpse, and nothing pops out. The super chests have a higher % chance to drop these runes because they are basically given multiple drops that are kind of guaranteed. So when you click on the chests, they will almost always drop between like 3 to 6 items. And so when you click on these super chests, you have a higher percent chance to get some runes. Now I click on every little skeleton and every little little chest and hollow log that I can find. And the reason why is because every single one of these items has a chance to drop a rune. So I'm just going to keep going. And as you can see earlier, I found a Talrash's death mask. So that was pretty cool. Talrash's mask isn't exactly rare, but it's definitely nice to have for some mercenaries if you need some mercenary helmets. It's certainly nice. And as you can see, there's a lot of interesting items that have been popping out, like circlets and coronets and various things. And this is interesting because, you know, these can potentially roll as uniques, or they can potentially roll as rares. You know, it just depends on how the game's feeling that particular day. And I don't normally try to chase these guys down and kill them, but this one's been annoying. Come here, sir. Sir. Just give up. Give up the chase. So we're actually done here. So that was the entire lower cross. It's actually pretty quick. Really not much more to it than that. And it's super easy. As you can see, I didn't really find too much. I found Flawless Emerald, Flawless Ruby, Flawless Topaz, Ort, and another Ort rune. And I also found the Talrash's Haraja Crest as well as a Flawless Skull. So not the greatest. Now, I do not believe that Magic Find is going to help you even find items from these chests. I can't remember exactly, but I remember being told at some point that Magic Find did not affect chests. And a cursory look online to verify my knowledge on this, I have found that what people have essentially learned is that Magic Find does affect what drops from regular chests and bodies and such, and like urns, but it does not affect what drops from super chests. So super chests are kind of on their own in that regard. So if we're talking about special or sparkling chests or super chests, MF has absolutely no effect on those at all. So very, very interesting. It does work on objects, though. So chests, rocks, corpses, baskets, skull piles, things like that. Magic Find does work on those. However, as we were talking about earlier, Magic Find does not work on runes. Now, if you were doing a lower Kurast run, you could do a lower Kurast run with Magic Find. And the goal of this would not be to find more runes, but would be to find more items as you're kicking and clicking on all the little things. Now, another area that you can farm for runes is a very simple one. It is Travancore. Now, Travancore is a little bit dangerous at hell difficulty, as there is a massive amount of elemental damage here. And hopefully I'm going to show you that it really doesn't matter. So I have here a Necromancer who is running negative 8% lightning, 18% fire, 14% cold, and 6% poison resistance. This particular character, my Necromancer, has absolutely no trouble with things like the Council because they have the ability to kind of just mitigate the damage by not being hit by it. Now, if you are a melee class or a class that really needs to get in there, like for instance, maybe you're a short-range sorceress, there are such things as short-range sorceresses. It just really kind of depends if you need to be in there and in the thick of it, and you are going to be highly targeted. Might as well kill Pendle while I'm here. This is where I summon my army. And I got a nice little shell rune there, not bad. I always hang on to shell runes. They are super duper duper useful. Alright, so once I've got my little army running, I'm going to go down to Travancore, and what I like to do on my Necromancer specifically, and you're gonna have your own specific rhythm to this. Whatever works for you is gonna be your rhythm. And my rhythm on this is to push myself into the room here, right here, and usually what I do is I take out these two first. And if you get into trouble, you can always move yourself into the Travancore fort here, the little level 1, and it works pretty well. And then once I've got a couple monsters dead, I'll start spamming a couple corpse explosions, and usually I can get pretty much everything dead rather quickly. Now, as you can see there, it does get a little bit hairy, especially when you have monsters who have multiple immune types. That particular monster there was fire immune, cursed, all sorts of beautiful things. I'm just going to town to remove the curse from all my minions. It definitely helps a huge amount. You would absolutely not believe how much it helps just to remove that curse and come back out here really quickly. And then once you've got that curse gone, you'll be much more easily able to handle what's going on. Now, your mercenary is going to have a little bit of trouble here, just mainly because mercenaries always do have a little bit of trouble with the hydras. They just do massive amounts of fire damage, and part of the issue with them is that your mercenary can't hit them, can't fight back, and in general just doesn't have any real way to mitigate that fire damage. So if you want him to stay alive, chuck him a couple potions. Make sure he's got a decent amount of resistances. Obviously, you know, if he's running 75% to all res, he'll have a much easier time. Although it's not going to be enough to completely save him. Now, as you can see, there are some really nice items that can drop from the council. I got a coronet, which ends up rolling absolutely crappy. A small charm, lots of charms tend to drop here. A cold resist with 1 to strength, I'll take it. We also have a canter trophy, which is with 35k, but that's not what we came here for. We came here for runes, and we got none. But this is something that you could do very quickly. It's not a huge big deal. There's a lot of monsters here. Each monster drops a lot of items each, so you're looking at a rather large chance to get at least 1 rune usually from running the council. So next on the list of areas that is really nice to farm for runes is the cow level. So you want to go and you grab the leg, and then you're going to want to put that into your cube and transmute it, and I'm going to go grab that real quick. Now, while you're here at the Karen Stones, feel free to rock an issue, because rock an issue has a pretty high chance to drop, believe it or not, Shakos. Unique Shakos, the Harlequin Quest Shako. He doesn't always drop Shako. I'm not going to say he's going to drop Shako every single time, but he has a pretty good chance of dropping a Shako. He also drops a couple other uniques, like for instance, I just got a Flesh Render from him, which is not the best drop in the entire world, but it's decent. And he also dropped me a little Bone Wand here. Now, keep in mind that super uniques always drop 2 items, though, so it's not like amazing that he dropped 2 items. It's just that's what he is. He is a super unique, and you're on your way to the cow level anyway, so, you know, stop in and say hi to Mr. Rockanishu. Also, you have a good kill is Griswold as well. Griswold is also a super unique, and he will also drop 2 items for you. So since you're in this particular zone, you might as well give Griswold a kill as well. I'm not saying Griswold has a high rune drop chance or anything. I'm just saying killing Griswold is an easy thing to do. And then the last thing I like to do when I go and get the cow leg is there's a huge champion pack right here with tons of monsters, and I usually give them a kill as well, specifically because they drop me some nice little items here, as well as I just farm them for potions a lot of the times, so I don't have to spend money on potions. Don't laugh at me. Alright, and then and you go grab your leg over here, and once you've got your leg, move your way back to town. Now, the cow level specifically is about numbers. It's not about, how do I put it? It's not about, like, just simply killing 1 cow and hoping that 1 cow is going to drop you a rune. The cow level is about massive numbers of cow murdering. PETA would be very angry at us for the massive amount of cow murdering that we are about to partake in. And I promise you, there is going to be a lot of cows dead. Because, you know, it's you know, they got axes and they're coming right for us, okay? All right? They're coming right for us. A little South Park joke for you guys. Now, when you're inside the cow level, what you're going to do is you're just going to massively murder as many cows as you can. And I'm going to fast forward this little bit for you so that you don't have to slow-mo watch me murder the cows. So, enjoy. All right, and that's it. So why I wanted you to see that, the reason why I wanted you to see that is that what's the highest rune I got during that run? It's like a Ral and Ort. The reason why I want you to see this is because very specifically, runes are hard to find. All that you can do most of the time when you're trying to find runes is put yourself in the right place and make sure that you have the right number of players in the game, and that's really all you can do when it comes to finding runes. The cow level has a chance to drop every single rune all the way up to Zod, which means you can find a Zod rune in a cow level. Cow levels are great for finding runes because there's massive number of monsters, which means you have massive number of chances. It's like playing like 10,000 scratch tickets. There's a pretty good chance you're going to have a winner in there somewhere if you play 10,000 scratch tickets, as opposed to, if you only play just one scratch ticket, maybe you win, but there's probably a really good chance you're not. With these massive numbers of monsters comes a greater probability that you might hit the lotto. And that's exactly what finding runes is. And I hope that I've given you guys a little bit of information as far as, where to go to find runes, places to farm for runes, monsters to target specifically, and the Arcane Sanctuary was one place that I talked about because of the ghosts, and I would like to take you guys into Arcane Sanctuary and play around in there. And I'm going to take you over on my Paladin, because my Paladin has a much easier time farming Arcane Sanctuary than my Necromancer does. So let's go over to my Paladin, and I'll take you over to Arcane Sanctuary. So here we are in Arcane Sanctuary, and why does Arcane Sanctuary have a better rune drop chance than a lot of other places? And as we talked about earlier, it has to do with ghosts. So ghosts have a much higher rune drop chance than other monsters, but you do have to make sure you're killing them over land. If you kill them over not land, the emptiness of the void out here, they will not drop anything. So keep that in mind. Make sure that you are pulling the ghosts over top of the land, or you are making sure that they are on land, before they are killed. Otherwise, you're not going to get anything from them whatsoever, which is very sad. And you know, there are a lot of runes that can drop from these ghosts because this is Act 2 Hell, and they are fairly high-level monsters. You're not going to get Zod Runes from here, unfortunately, but they will drop a very high number of runes, I believe, all the way up to a, I want to say a low rune, I think is about as high as they can drop. It might be a little bit higher than that. I'm not 100% certain on like every single rune that a ghost can drop. But as you can see, my paladin is kind of made for this. That's the reason why I chose him specifically. It's because he has absolutely no trouble whatsoever with ghosts. Now, one of the problems with ghosts is they are physically immune, and my paladin, he does massive amounts of elemental damage. So if you are a physical damage character, very specifically, keep in mind that as a physical damage character, you're going to have a little bit of trouble with ghosts unless you have some other way around it. He didn't give me a key. He never gives me a key. I just want a key. So Ghost in Arcane Sanctuary is another interesting place. Anyway, as always, and thanks for watching, and keep watching.
What do you want, William? What do you want? What do you want, little boy? Little beggy, little beggar. Beggy beggar.